There are two questions we can ask. How big is the refugee crisis in Ukraine, and have we done enough, or are we doing enough? In answer to the first question, at the moment, 11.5 million people in 1 month, just over 1 month, have been displaced from Ukraine because of this violence, because of this aggression by the Kremlin Russians. Now that comes very close to the 13.7 million people displaced in Syria. Displaced again, partly because of Russian aggression. But that's taken over 10 years. The 11.5 million refugees from Ukraine has been in 1 month. This compares with 2.6 million in Rwanda, 4.1 million in Yemen, 2.1 million in Bosnia, and nearly 2 million from Myanmar. In all, at the moment, we're looking at, over the last few years, 84 million worldwide refugees who have been displaced from their homes. It's astonishing. So have we done enough? Have we done enough? Our efforts to help refugees have been compromised by bureaucracy and inefficiency in a fundamental way. I think there is no limit at all to our goodwill. But what have we actually done? When we look at our response to the Afghan crisis, we have delayed and delayed. Now, what is our actual response to the refugee crisis when we compare ourselves with other nations? Well, we take in about 1% of our population is refugees. We have taken in 1% of refugees. And when we compare that, for example, to when we compare that to Lebanon, if you look at Lebanon, 1 in 6 of the current population in Lebanon are refugees. That sort of throws it into perspective. The TUC, the Trade Union Council, called our response to the Ukraine refugee crisis slow and mean-spirited. It said, we've fallen short of the humanity and common decency and urgent action that ordinary working people in Britain expect. I think that's perfectly reasonable. The new Borders Bill, which is going through the House of Lords, actually it's stuck in the House of Lords because the House of Lords don't like it. If that goes through and becomes law, that's going to make our situation even worse. It's going to make us even more hostile to people who need our help. And yesterday, Russia closed the Amnesty office in Moscow. So that probably means that Amnesty is getting something right, but Amnesty has criticised our response to this crisis in a very, very firm way. Amnesty has criticised the Home Office. So in contrast to us, we have taken, 12,000 people. 12,000 people have been welcomed, have been physically welcomed into our country. And our system, we know, is complex and slow, and Priti Patel says she's frustrated. But in contrast to us, Poland has taken in 2.5 million refugees. We can look at Turkey that took in 4 million refugees from Syria immediately. Other countries are pulling their weight with the refugee crisis. We are not. We are not. I am delighted that Boris is at the moment in Kiev. I'm delighted that we are standing to support President Zelensky, but we are not we are not doing as much as we possibly can to support the millions of refugees who are trying to get out of their country and who want to come here, and the huge number of people here who want to help. They're being frustrated by the incompetence of our Home Office, by the incompetent minister who is running our Home Office. She is not doing what we want her to do. That is a fundamental problem. I think she should resign, but I think, how do we make that happen? We have to besiege the Home Office with letters. We have to besiege Downing Street with letters, not emails. No one reads an email. We have to put our hand in our pocket and pay the overpriced first-class postage and write to Boris and write to Priti Patel. Doesn't matter if she doesn't open the envelopes. Somebody will eventually. We have to demand Patel's resignation. It's the first thing we can do to sort out this problem. While she is in power, we are humiliated on the world stage. We are made to look ridiculous because Boris cannot possibly say that he is doing everything he can when we are only taking a handful of refugees, when we are making it so difficult to come into our country. We cannot say we are doing everything we can to help. We aren't.